Hi, I'm Benjamin Le Clear, and welcome back to DC Tales from the Vault. I'm Benjamin Le Clear. That was Alfred E. Newman, which means we're celebrating a different part of our company's history today, Mad Magazine. We're very excited that Mad Magazine has relocated from New York to our Burbank offices here, and we're also equally excited that Mad has released its first new #1 issue in 66 years. But this is actually Mad's third first issue, which sounds strange, but I can explain, and we need to take a look back at Mad's history. The story of Mad begins long before it was ever published. It goes actually back to 1947 with the unfortunate death of M.C. Gaines, the founder of EC Comics. When he died, his widow convinced his then 25-year-old son, Bill Gaines, and we have a lovely picture of Bill on the inside here, the very first issue. There he is, the iconic publisher of Mad. She convinced him to take over the company. Now, what he inherited, he said, was the crummiest and tiniest outfit in the business, with $100,000 in pre-existing debts and the worst distributor in the business. So, with no real incentive to continue the way he was, and with no interest in the type of comic books that his father produced, things like picture stories from the Bible, he changed the name of EC to Entertaining Comics, and along with Al Feldstein, the editor, created a whole series of what they called new trend comics, which pioneered genres like horror, suspense, science fiction, and also military comics, which is how Harvey Kurtzman entered the scene. In 1950, Harvey Kurtzman was working full-time at EC Comics, and he was writing, editing, drawing, doing layouts, pretty much everything under the sun on 2 military comics. Now, he was hoping to make the most truthful and accurate military comics of all time. And to do so, he even got himself involved in legendarily extensive amounts of research. It would take him sometimes days or weeks to research all the facts needed for one single story in one of his comic books. He also sent his assistant on a submarine ride so that he could record accurate sound effects for a story they were doing. Well, this attention to detail certainly slowed down the output. And as a result, Harvey was only able to edit 2 magazines in the same time that Al Feldstein was able to edit 7. And since EC paid by the comic, Feldstein was certainly making a lot more money. This upset Harvey, who was also interested in doing a magazine for pretty much most of his life. Now, Bill understood that Harvey wasn't making enough money, but he didn't want to punish Feldstein for his output. So what he suggested was that Harvey should put together something quick and easy, a humor comic book, something they could probably throw together in about a week. Well, Harvey didn't do anything in a week, so he got his old team together from the War Comics and put his heart and soul into the first Mad comic book. That's right, it's a comic book. The #1 issue, and by the way, I want to show you something really special. These are Bill Gaines's copies. We brought them over from New York. Bill Morrison brought them over by hand, and this is Mad Volume #1, and as you can see, the original Mads were not a magazine. They were, in fact, a comic book. And this is by Harvey Kurtzman. It's 32 pages. He did the layouts. He wrote all 4 stories. Everyone was very excited about this comic. And, well, it bombed. That's right. But one good thing about comic books is that the sales figures weren't known for a couple of issues. So by the time the low sales in #1 were aware, #3 was already on the stands. And #4 was just coming out. Now, it was in production. #4 is a landmark for another reason. It is the big breakout. Here's another lovely one. I love this. This is how Harvey Kurtzman signed everything, with a Kurtz and a little man. And the reason for the breakout is a very familiar character. Instead of just parodying other comics in EC's history, this is the parody of Super Duper Man.